They lied to you. It starts with a phrase so common, so innocent, that you don't even realize it's a trap. Enjoy your youth. They tell you, you only live once. They say, party now, worry later. It sounds like freedom. It tastes like liberation. It feels like the golden ticket to a life where consequences don't exist. I listened to them. I drank the Kool-Aid by the gallon. I spent my 20s chasing the glitter, the parties, the social status, the desperate need for approval from strangers I didn't even respect. But today, I am here to tell you that enjoy your youth is the most expensive piece of financial and emotional advice you will ever buy. It isn't a gift. It is a loan shark. It comes to your door to collect with interest when you turn 30, and by then, the price is often too high to pay. I wasted the most critical decade of my life chasing the wrong dream, and I am going to walk you through exactly why chasing glitter will leave you holding nothing but dust. This is the brutal truth about the decade that defines your life, and the confession of a man who got it wrong, so you don't have to. Let's talk about the myth of the roaring 20s. Not the historical era, but your personal era. Culturally, we are brainwashed to believe that the decade between 20 and 30 is a free pass. We view it as an extension of childhood rather than the quiet, terrifying beginning of adulthood. I certainly did. I looked at my 20s as a waiting room for responsibility. I thought, I have plenty of time to get serious later. Now is the time to explore. But my definition of explore was shallow. I wasn't exploring marketable skills. I wasn't exploring the depths of my own discipline. I was exploring happy hours. I wasn't exploring my character. I was exploring how to impress people I didn't even like. I was chasing the wrong thing. The wrong thing is dangerous because it disguises itself as success. It looks like popularity. It feels like fun. But it is actually a distraction mechanism designed to keep you from building the one thing that matters, your foundation. I want you to visualize a construction site. Your 20s are the specific window of time when you are supposed to pour the concrete foundation of your life. It is dirty work. It is boring work. It involves mud, sweat, and rebar. Nobody sees it because it sits underground. There is no applause for pouring concrete. But if you spend your 20s painting the air, chasing the glitter, instead of digging in the mud, you will reach your 30s and try to build a life only to find you have nothing to stand on. I spent 10 years painting the air. And when I turned 30, the wind blew, and everything I thought I had achieved vanished into the ether. I remember a specific Friday night in 1978. I was 26 years old. I was at a club, surrounded by a wall of sound and beautiful people. I was wearing a suit I couldn't afford, charged to a credit card that was already maxed out. I was drinking whiskey that cost more than my hourly wage. In that moment, I felt like a king. Visualize the scene. The bass of the music is thumping in your chest, a rhythmic, hypnotic pounding that drowns out your own internal monologue. The air is thick, choking with the smell of expensive perfume, mixed with cigarette smoke and sweat, a scent that screams excitement. You look around and see flashing lights reflecting off crystal glasses. It feels electric. It feels like you are at the absolute center of the universe. But here is the catch. In that deafening noise, I was completely blind to the silent catastrophe that was happening to my future. I didn't realize that the bill for that night wouldn't arrive at the end of the evening. It would arrive 20 years later. The price tag of chasing the wrong thing isn't just the cash you hand over at the bar, it is the opportunity cost of who you didn't become. While I was mastering the art of small talk and social climbing, my competition was mastering the art of value creation. I thought I was networking, but I was just drinking with other lost people. Let's be clear, Networking in your 20s is largely a myth if you have no skills to offer. If you have no value, you aren't networking. You are just a beggar in a nice suit. I remember waking up at noon on Saturdays. My head would be pounding, my mouth tasting like cotton and regret. The sunlight coming through the blinds felt aggressive, like an accusation I couldn't answer. I would spend the rest of the weekend recovering, watching TV, passively consuming content, letting time bleed out. Meanwhile, somewhere else, someone was reading the books I ignored. Someone was learning the investment strategies I dismissed as boring. Someone was sweating in the gym while I was sleeping off a hangover. Think of the sound of a library on a Saturday morning, the quiet rustle of pages turning, the scratching of a pen on paper, the smell of old books and coffee. It is not exciting like the club. It doesn't pump adrenaline into your veins. It is a slow, quiet, solitary sound. But that silence is where empires are built. I traded that silence for noise, and I didn't realize that the noise was actually the sound of my potential leaking away drop by drop until the reservoir was dry. The wrong thing I chased was validation. I wanted to look successful more than I wanted to be capable. I bought a car on credit because it turned heads at the stoplight. I took a job in sales not because I wanted to sell, but because the title sounded impressive at dinner parties. I was building a facade. We live in a world that sells us glitter. Social media is the factory of glitter. You see the vacations, the cars, the parties. You think that is the dream. But you are seeing the harvest without seeing the planting. You are seeing the highlight reel. I chased that reel. I wanted the harvest without the planting. And because I didn't plant anything in my 20s, no real skills, no financial discipline, no deep relationships, no emotional maturity, I had nothing to harvest in my 30s. I realized this with violent clarity when I was 32. The company I worked for, the one with the fancy title, downsized. I was let go. I had no savings because I had spent it all on lifestyle. I had no deep network because my friends were just party buddies who vanished the moment the tab ran out. I had no leverage. I stood in the parking lot with a cardboard box of my belongings, feeling the wind cut through that expensive suit. And I realized the glitter was gone. All that was left was the dust of my wasted time. There is a specific feeling of emptiness that hits you when you realize you are behind in life, not because of bad luck, but because of your own choices. It feels like a hollow pit in your stomach, a cold draft blowing through your soul. You look at your peers, the ones who stayed home on Friday nights to study, the ones who drove used cars and invested the difference, and you see them buying homes, starting families, and moving with a confidence you don't possess. You realize they weren't boring, they were strategic. So what is the lesson? If you are in your 20s, stop chasing the glitter. Stop trying to impress people. Nobody cares about your watch. Nobody cares about your VIP table. They are too busy worrying about themselves. Instead, chase dust. Chase the gritty, boring, unsexy work. Chase the skills that take years to master. Chase the savings account that grows slowly. Chase the relationships that are built on shared values, not shared intoxicants. Your 20s are for burning the midnight oil, not for burning your brain cells. If I could go back, I would trade every single fun night out for 1 hour of mentorship. I would trade every dollar I spent on clothes for $1 in the S&P 500. I would trade the approval of the crowd for the respect of myself. You might say, but I don't want to miss out on my youth. You aren't missing out. You are investing. You are buying your freedom. The fun you have in your 20s borrows happiness from your 40s. If you pay the price now, you get to buy the whole shop later. If you play now, you pay later, with interest. And trust me, the interest rate on a wasted youth is a killer. Don't be like me. Don't wake up at 30 with a hangover and a zero balance. Wake up with a clear head and a foundation of steel. That is the only status symbol that matters.